Hey everyone, Mr. Clutch here, going to look at today's action on SPY. It is Tuesday, June 20th, and this is the opening day of the trading week. So I'm going to start fresh and draw zones today, and let's take a look at it. So this is going into the pre-market here this morning. So this is what we've been looking at before the day. So we will go back and draw our zones. We've got our high last Thursday that's pretty important. And it actually feeds right into that high from Friday. So I'm going to go ahead and mark that. And then our low from Friday, which looks like it's right here. We'll go up something like that. And remember, if you're not familiar with this, if you're just watching for the first time, this is the method that Casey uses in our Team 2 Discord. And so I'm just mocking what he's doing here. We go to the high wick of the day down to usually the body of the candle just below. That'd be a really tight zone there. And so since Friday's kind of lined up with that, I just made this one whole zone to line up there. That's a about $1 range, which is fine over 2 days. So and then we'll mark our lows the same way each day. So then we've got two zones there. We could come back to this is kind of our FOMC low. We probably pretty strong spike below. Just looking back, yeah, I think I like something more. I'm not sure what Casey did today, but I kind of like something more like maybe like this, because it gets this low from last Tuesday. It's got our low from Wednesday, and it's kind of got where we started in the pre-market before we bounced on Thursday. So I like that zone there. And then you've got this kind of intraday area here. You could build a really tight zone here if you wanted, just to kind of show that, hey, price rejected here like twice pretty hard just before we get up into this higher zone. So here we are, right? Let's go to our 2 minute now, and let's look at what we're seeing as we get into the day. Oh, let me get my EMAs on. You'll see extra EMAs. The yellow is the 13, the purple is the 48, red is the 200. I've got some extras in here that I've been monitoring as well, just to kind of use. So anyways, out of the open this morning, I really liked this trend line in hindsight. I didn't catch it. I was a little late to trading this morning. And so, but this was really nice. We kind of here made a little bit lower high here, and then we start breaking down into 13. That was a very nice entry opportunity there. And then there's a picture perfect setup there as well. Comes back, tests the 13, breaks down, and off we go. So solid. You could have taken either of those two trades to start the day and probably had a really nice trade and been done for the day. So what do? We come right down into our zones. See, we couldn't see this zone obviously when we were drawing our zones, but look where we ended up bottoming out for the day. Obviously we don't know that right here, and we were looking like a down day, but we came right down here to this zone. And so this is a trade that I believe, or a setup that I believe was nice here. And this is the one I took in the small account challenge. I missed those up there. I really like this setup. I think Casey took this in the Discord too. We came up, and you'll notice this EMA. I think this is I know this is the 20 EMA. And so it was a perfect test of that. This is the 9 down here. Anyways, we break back down to the 13. Entry here. Barely got any follow through, and then it was off and stopped out. So not the player we're looking for there, but it's a nice setup. So if you get stopped out there, so be it. So then we're kind of just watching the rest of the way. Like you could, maybe draw out a trend line if you try to get something tight in here, like this. It hits that wick and this, and then that breaks down through it. I don't know how much push down. That's a good entry. I like that entry. So no shame in that right there. 43.12. So you only get about 20-30 cents out of that move. So once again, just no follow through on that. And so then we're kind of just stopping and watching. I haven't drawn this out today, but I wonder what that looks like. Look at that, yeah. Actually, if you come up to those wicks, that's a perfect trend line. Wow, let me delete some of this other stuff. So, we're trying to review the 2 minute system here. But, yeah, actually, this is, look at that, that comes down. two hits here, comes right up to it and gets you a little flag back to the 13 almost. And yeah, there's enough room up to that 200, so I like that long there. It's not ideal like with all the EMA stacked the right way, but again, I have a lot of noise on my chart right now with these extra EMAs, so you can kind of ignore those. They're not really figured into our 2-minute system. So that's a good entry there. You get a nice run up, a nice little pullback, up it goes again, and you kind of just ride that out. I mean, you could have gotten stopped on this pullback or maybe this one. Definitely probably your stop gets hit here before catching that, but very nice opportunities there. You could take something like this and try to get back in and catch that as well. So then we're just kind of chopping around the rest of the day. You'll see our we're maybe looking for like a pullback and resume off long, but it just never happens. So you're just watching and you drop all the way back down here through the 200. Kind of looks like a little flag back there, if you're looking short potentially, but it's not yet. These are getting pretty tight, all your EMAs here, especially the 13 and 48. They're crossing, it looks like crossing down here, and then it bounces up. So the rest of the way, your EMA, your 13 and 48 are pretty tight. And then you're kind of above the 200. Once you leak below, you might be looking for a flag back, but that doesn't happen. There's no entry there. I guess, in hindsight, you might have considered this, went up and had this high candle. Yeah, I could see an entry here. So you may have been able to get a little profit down here if you held on long enough, because it wouldn't have stopped you out if you got a good entry up here. But it would have been chewing up your premium a little. This may have stopped you out, I guess, either of those. So it was probably at best a break even, maybe slightly profitable trade. And then that kind of takes us into the end of the day. There was a nice drop here to end the day if you would have still been tracking it, but these are always crapshoots. So yeah, nothing too special there. So let's take a quick look at Qs, and we'll draw out our zones here as well. Let's go to the 15-minute. We'll just take a quick run through here. Yeah, so here's where we are. Again, I'll combine the two zones from the Friday high and the Thursday high. Our Friday low is right down here, something like that. We've got this kind of this zone here. I'd probably do a low, maybe something like, I'll bring that up a little. So probably there's our zones we're looking to play with. So once again, we go right to that bottom zone to start the day. So not quite as similar look on Qs. It went up pretty steep, so that's a hard one to build a flag on. But this flag right here is really nice. And you could have got a solid move from 66.35 down to, you could get a $2.50 move before you even think about getting stopped out there, like with a trailing stop. So very nice move there, and then it kind of just chopped sideways. This one didn't have that same SPY flag that I took. I'm just kind of seeing what these lines look like down here. Pull that there. So that that's that same one we looked at on SPY. That break right there you might take, and you could scalp a little bit there, maybe get stopped back at break even as that turns around. So now you're kind of just watching. Let's just see what that does. If I straighten that out, yeah, not much. So, yeah. So as you start getting above the 200 here, and this had this little flag here, kind of back. It was pretty far. It never really got to the 13 or 48, since those are the ones we're looking at, the yellow and purple. But as it starts breaking the 200 and holding, that might be something you take, and you could always just stop out if it goes back under. But the SPY had the better setup there. And then we go back into that top zone, we reject it, and then just kind of go back to the 200 and swirl our way on out at the end of the day. Not a whole lot there. I guess you could have looked at something like that. You probably got stopped there if you were playing that, but yeah, that's it for today. We'll look back at tomorrow and see what we can find. And appreciate everyone watching. Follow me on Twitter if you haven't, Mr. Clutch Trades, at Mr. Clutch Trades, and I'll see you guys tomorrow. Thanks.